Donald Trump and J.D. Vance have been running a terrible campaign, and every attack they've lobbed at Kamala Harris and Tim Walz just doesn't seem to stick. And now the NRA has joined in on the tomfoolery, and they're going after Tim Walz for his gun ownership. The NRA posted a video trying to clown on Tim Walz, but boy, do they have egg on their face after the internet revealed that they don't even know what they're talking about. Just wait until you see this. The right seems to believe that the left wants to take away everybody's guns, but Kamala Harris and Tim Walz have proved time and time again that they just support common sense gun violence legislation. In fact, Kamala Harris has talked about her gun ownership quite a few times.
These are just common sense.
I thought it was so powerful at the convention when you said you have guns. No, at the debate.
I'm a gun owner. Tim Walz is a gun.
I did not know that.
If somebody breaks in my house, they're getting shot.
Yes, I hear that.
And Tim Walz, coming from the Midwest, has a much more extensive background with guns. Look at this piece by MSNBC talking about his history.
I'm Tim Walz. You know, growing up hunting taught me a lot about responsibility and respect, lessons I hope to pass on to my kids. I'm proud to stand with the NRA to protect the rights of sportsmen and gun owners.
That was Vice President Kamala Harris's new running mate, Tim Walz, proudly declaring his support for the National Rifle Association in a radio ad in 2010. Now, that same year, not only did the NRA give Walz an A rating, the gun group endorsed Walz over his Republican challenger.
That is incredible. Tim Walz, the Democrat, getting endorsed by the NRA over the Republican challenger.
In 2016, Guns and Ammo magazine named then Representative Walz as one of the top 20 politicians for gun owners. Okay, now hold all of that in your mind and listen to Walz's State of the State address as governor of Minnesota last year.
The time for hiding behind thoughts and prayers is long gone. What we need is action, and we need it now. So here's what's going to happen. Here's what's going to happen. We've got gun safety bill on the table, and we're going to get it passed. And I'm going to sign it.
Now, 1 month after that speech, Governor Walz did just that. He signed a bill creating a red flag law and expanding background checks for gun owners in Minnesota. Now, there are already plenty of articles online slamming Walz as a, quote, political chameleon or claiming that he made an epic flip-flop on guns. But that simply is not true. I mean, this change for Walz has been more than a decade in the making.
It makes sense. Even if you are a passionate gun owner, you can understand the need for sensible gun safety legislation in this day and age when we're seeing so many mass shootings. So even Tim Walz recognizing that we've got to do something. Just a few days ago, Tim Walz was out hunting, which is obviously something he enjoys doing. Look at this tweet from a CBS News reporter. Tim Walz is out hunting pheasants for the season opener in Minnesota. The Harris-Walz campaign recently announced the Hunters, Gun Owners, and Anglers Coalition. Walz often says he supports the Second Amendment, but advocates for common sense legislation. And we know Harris owns a Glock. Then there was a subsequent tweet that said the following. Tim Walz brought his own gun, a Beretta, to hunt for pheasants, he tells me. I bought it when I was shooting a lot of trap, the Minnesota governor said. And then there's a video included with the tweet that shows Tim Walz fiddling with his gun. And that video is what the NRA tried to get a dunk on Tim Walz over. But boy, did they screw up. The NRA tweeted out the following. Tim Walz previously claimed he kept a shotgun in his car so he could hunt pheasants after football practice. This is Tim Walz attempting to load his shotgun this past weekend. And this is the video they included. The only problem for the NRA, who are supposed to be gun experts, is that Tim Walz was not loading his gun. Look at the community notes under the tweet. It says Walz is unloading the gun, and they included a link to a YouTube video for reference.
So you've been hunting. I want to show you the correct way to unload your semi-auto shotgun. First, you want to press these buttons to get the ammo out first. Click your receiver and take the shell out.
So it's awfully awkward that the NRA doesn't know what was happening in that video. This tweet here nails it. The NRA I knew when I was very young would have posted something like, "This is an example of a safe way to unload a shotgun to promote gun safety. You are no longer a gun organization. You are a political organization. If you cannot see the difference between an unload and a load of a shotgun in a crystal clear video, then I don't see why anyone should ever take gun advice from your organization ever again." What a pathetic attempt at an own by the NRA on Tim Walz. This guy was just trying to unload his shotgun and prevent the shells from hitting the floor. When you're older, you don't want to bend down and pick stuff up, so you're going to awkwardly try to keep yourself from having to do that. So that's what it appears was going on in that video. I'm not a gun guy. I have no clue, but according to all these tweets, it sounds like Tim Walz was just trying to carefully unload the shotgun so he would avoid having to bend down and pick up the shells from the ground. So a total fail by the NRA, and this has just been a pattern for the Republicans and all their associated organizations out there. They just cannot get anything to stick on Kamala and Tim Walz. We've got just a couple more weeks to get through with this election, and then we can all move on. So stay positive and let's win this thing.